to my channel. I'm Jess. Firstly, I put on too much eyeliner this morning. I thought it was like 2016 or something, but today, guys, I'm talking about 2025 Dior bags. And actually, they're probably coming out in 2026, but you know, Jonathan Anderson is the new creative director of Dior, and I feel like this is like a highly anticipated launch of new bags designed by him. So guys, let me know what you think as well. Firstly, I really wanted to talk about this new book tote. It features this like mirror motif, which I feel like is so cute. It's like pink with the Dior like monogram all over it. Where's the picture of it? Yes. So it's got the kind of, you know, the book tote, it's usually quite like bold. The font is like Christian Dior, which to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of. This is incorporating like the old school, more lowercase font, which is like really cutesy. And then this like lace trim is adorable, and the little bag charm on it. Oh my gosh, guys, when I saw this bag, I'm like, okay, Dior is gonna be like doing something really popular here, because you know, there's a lot of girly girls that love pink stuff, and this is just like ticking all the boxes. It's like overly cute, like ballerina core kind of vibe. Anyways, it is adorable. And if you like this kind of mirror motif, which I think they should like play around with a lot because that's like extremely cute. There's also going to be like a belt in the same idea, which I think would also like really be a good seller. Like if you think of when brands kind of had their moments, like for example, Gucci with their GG belt, I think that was a huge seller, and even Celine with the Triomphe belt. I feel like this Dior belt is like extremely adorable, and I don't know, something about it is so girly. So yes, I think these are both like could be top hits, and a little bit more like commercial, because like the book tote tends to be not as expensive as like the Lady Dior or something like that. So there's those, which I think are so adorable. There are going to be a lot of different special iterations of the Lady Dior. So the Lady Dior, they always bring it out in like, you know, special finishes, beaded, like arty variations, similar to like Louis Vuitton with their capucines. Like they're always bringing it out in these like extremely exclusive variations. And Jonathan Anderson, he's added this cute little bow to a lot of like the new Lady Dior's. We saw it modeled on Jisoo as well from Blackpink. She has this two-tone Lady Dior with a little bow in it, and she was wearing the mini one crossbody just with like Ugg boots and jeans, which was very random, but it just, I think she styled it like that to show like, to make it more accessible to most people. I think most people dress quite casually, jeans and a white top, right, and Ugg boots, which, yeah, I don't know, I guess that's very Aussie, but yes. And with the Lady Dior, as random as the combination is, it kind of works. So yeah, they're trying to like dress it down in a way, and especially I feel like, you know, Dior, it's hyper girly, and they're just releasing it in all these like very special variations, like this one that features all these yellow blossoms, very cute, and then at the top it has like a lizard trim. I thought that was rather special. I've also seen a 4-leaf clover version, which is also very special, and it was featured on, I think, Jonathan Anderson's Instagram and the Dior Instagram. Then there's going to be a few like 4-leaf clover variations. There's also one with like black croc with little 4-leaf clovers on it, which is interesting as well. Then there's more of the like DJoy version, which is the east-west silhouette, which I feel like is still in fashion, but it features again the little bow which Jonathan Anderson added with the little crystals all over it. There'll be quite a few different beaded variations, which I have done in the past as well. But I think the soft pink tones are particularly going to be popular because, again, they're kind of feeding into that kind of like ballerina vibe that I think is still currently trending. And then there is also going to be a new kind of version of a Lady Dior and more of a basket weave, and this one is a little bit more relaxed. So I believe the carnage pattern was inspired by a rattan chair. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Jonathan Anderson is really playing with that rattan chair texture, and he's created Dior bags that are a little bit more slouchy, which they have done in the past. Even Maria Grazia Cutie did. I remember she kind of, the font was a little bit more like Western vibe almost, and then I remember she did some like more soft structured Lady Dior's, but this is like taking it to a whole new level. It also has these little tassels on the side, which to be honest remind me a little bit of like the Loewe Flamenco or something, with the little scrunchy top, which as I said in my previous video, we saw this like scrunchy element in a lot of fashion shows, like even at Louis Vuitton. So this kind of like ruching situation, pouch situation at the top. And again, it has his signature bow, which he adds to like a lot of things, to be honest. Like even the shoes have like little bows on them. So yeah, he's kind of really playing with that bow. And I think he's taken that element from one of his favorite dresses. He spoke about, well, he mentioned on his Instagram how he was inspired to create the latest Cigal bag because from a dress, which is his favorite dress. So I think he could have taken this little bow element from that dress as well and just like, you know, really ran with it and added it to all the bags. And yeah, speaking of the Cigal bag, this is, I spoke about this in my previous video, but this is like a new bag that Jonathan Anderson has introduced. And it has again been seen on Jisoo from Blackpink in this like pastel green version, which is quite special, but it is, I think, gonna be released in, you know, a Bordeaux color, this beautiful kind of box cuff with a beautiful kind of shine to it. Really classic combination with the gold hardware. And what I like about this bag is that it has the logo like within the bag, so you have to look at the D-ring, and then it has like, I think it's quite cute the way that they've done the logo, like kind of Dior with the D-ring. That's like a cute idea, I thought. And you kind of just see it subtly. So it still has the branding there, but it's a little bit more low-key. Kind of like when you have like an Hermes Kelly and then it's closed, but then like when you open it up and you peep on the inside, it's kind of just like here. So it's kind of just like, oh, it's Hermes. Like you kind of just see it within the bag. I like branding like that, whereas it's not like super blatantly in your face. It's kind of like you have to like look to see it. I like that personally, but it's still obviously Dior. So that's cool. And again, it has that little bow, which is cute. And this bag, I think it's going to be a hot hit, to be honest, because they're releasing it in a lot of variations, similar to the Lady Dior. It kind of reminds me like of a Capucines as well. They're going to have it in like pastel croc special effect. And to be honest, because Christian Dior is under the same group as Louis Vuitton and Loewe and Fendi, so they probably have access to the same crocodile supplier, or like, you know, they probably get their leathers all from the same place anyway, so there's probably a bit of a crossover with like what they've got access to, different kind of finishes they can get. So I guess, you know, Dior would also have that accessibility to these very special effects variations of croc, which you can see here. It's kind of giving me like a similar vibe to what Louis Vuitton would do with their Capucines. Then there's also like this mini version in a brown croc, which you also saw on the runway, which is quite stunning. The Himalayan version, which I mentioned in my previous video, which is just like, you know, one of those like aspirational finishes that I think a lot of people go for or aim to go for. Another pastel variation. This one has more lilac with green. And yeah, some interesting kind of finishes on that bag there. Now, there is going to be a few other bags as well. There's this little bow clutch, which we've been seeing bows a lot. Even in Chanel, they had their like bow bags, which was inspired, I believe, from a collection in 2008 or 9, I can't remember, but yeah, this again is like that bow trend, which I think is really strong this season as well, but it's done in an exotic croc, so there's a bit of an emphasis on exotics here, which is interesting because I know that not everybody is for exotics, so I guess they're trying to target a really affluent clientele, which makes sense because yeah. And then this bag is also going to be in a beaded version with all like really pretty little dainty flowers on it. Also going to be in a black croc version. So interesting little pouch here. I did show you guys last time. I do have a bow pouch myself. I've had this for years. This is from Miu Miu. And I got it from a friend who bought it a long time ago. So I guess this like bow trend, it's hyper feminine, hyper girly. But it does come in and out of fashion, and it's interesting that we're kind of going more to this like super girly vibe again. I quite like it, but then again, it's kind of like, I think Jonathan Anderson, he likes to juxtapose really masculine and feminine things together. So like, even if you see this styled, it's probably going to be styled in a way that is not like super feminine. There's also going to be a new bag that is a little bit more of like a chain bag. Now, chain bags are always popular, like particularly at Chanel. Saint Laurent has a lot of chain bags. And this is, I guess, Dior's version of a chain bag. It's a little bit more ruched again, a bit more relaxed. And it looks a little bit like something that you would have seen in like an older Dior collection from like 2010s or something to me. But again, it's like, I guess, just another new bag that they brought out. And then there's also going to be a few other more dainty evening clutches with the little blossoms on them as well. And another bag that I think is worth mentioning is this more casual hobo bag that we saw on the runway with the Dior lettering. I wonder if that's going to be popular because I feel like the hobo bag trend, it is still kind of going strong. And it's something that is a little bit easier to style with, you know, things like jeans and everyday fashion, as opposed to these like very fancy Lady Dior bags, and even the new Cigal bag. I feel like it's rather fancy. Like, to be honest, as much as I appreciate this collection, all the bags are like too fancy for me to want to buy. I personally go for like more casual, easy to wear bags, plain colors. Like, I like bright colors, but I like just like a plain color, not all these like fancy embellishments, which is why I don't think I'm as drawn to brands like Fendi and even like more premium Louis Vuitton bags, because they emphasize a lot on all this like crazy like embellishments and stuff, which I feel like for my daily life is not practical. So if I had to like actually buy something from this Dior collection, it would probably be like, to be honest, like the book tote is pretty cute in the pink. It's hyper girly and it's very trendy, but I do like it. It does remind me a little bit as well of like the girly collection when Jean Galliano was the creative director at Dior, which I kind of like that hyper pink kind of vibe. It's very like Y2K in a way. And yeah, or I would go for like the hobo bag because I think that's a little bit more easy to style for every day. But let me know, guys, are you drawn to any of these like very special Dior bags? Because they are beautiful like works of art and they are very inspiring and gorgeous to look at as well. And I think if you're a handbag collector, they could be quite tempting. So anyways, thanks for listening to my blurby video today. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, guys. Please give me a subscribe and I'll talk to you really soon. Bye.